Hello, if you're watching this on the replay, if you can still give hearts if you love what I'm saying, and you can still swipe from left to right to share this with your followers. If you have anyone that you want to share this with, go ahead and do so. Hey, thanks for joining. Hello, I'm making lilac syrup and I wanted to show you how I'm doing it. Hey, thank you for joining. Thanks for coming in. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. Let me flip this around. Hey guys, my name is Jenny and I blog at adomesticwildflower.com, and I share sewing, canning, and old-fashioned DIY, and I wanted to hop on and show you how I'm making lilac syrup. So right now in lots of places lilacs are blooming. There are those really pretty purple small flowers that are very fragrant and very sweet smelling. It's the floral scent I think that the Victoria's Secret Love Spell scent is based off of, if I had to make a guess. And go ahead and shut that, hun. And yeah, so I'm making a simple syrup with 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water, and a cup of lilacs. So I'm going to flip it around so you can see. Again, so this is just a little itty bitty saucepan of mine, and so I just turned the stove on like 2 or 3 to warm the sugar and water together so it's dissolved, and I whisked it so it was dissolving, and then I put the flowers in, and I'm going to let it just come a little bit warmer. I don't want to burn it, so that it comes to a simmer, and once it's simmering I'm going to simmer it for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to strain it and put it in a mason jar and save it. And I do need some good ideas what I could do with this when this is done. This was sort of impulsive. So I was at my dad's where blooming, and I kind of had this sudden burst of inspiration. First I was looking at the honeysuckle bushes and hoping that they were blooming, but they're not yet. The flowering quince were, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. That's tomorrow. But the lilacs were definitely blooming. Not all the way, not all of them, but I found a little mason jar in the cellar, and I filled it up, and it was freezing cold, but it's all right. That's springtime. So I'm just going to let that simmer for a little bit. And I also wanted to hop on and remind you all that I have a giveaway that I'm running on my blog, thedomesticwildflower.com, and it's for a mason jar coffee press. That's super awesome. I'll share that with you while we're waiting for that to simmer. A watched pot never simmers, as they say, right? So the mason jar coffee press is called a Portland press, and it's made mostly in Oregon. In fact, almost all the parts in it are made in America. Like one little teeny metal part had to be made in China. Darn it, but that's okay. And it's made by this awesome company called Bucket PDX. And the few emails I exchanged with them, I cannot tell you how nice they were. I swear, I'm not even joking. They did not pay me to say that. They were so nice. So here, let me flip this baby around. You'll see a few coffee grains on my counter, but I guess you won't care, huh? Okay. So this is the Bucket PDX mason jar coffee press. So, yeah, it's a wooden top, and it has a silicone gasket on the underside. And you can see my broken Keurig in the back. That's been, I've only owned it for maybe 13 months, and I quit working. But this is so genius. I'm never going to have to buy another coffee press ever in my life, because it screws on to a standard wide mouth 3-cup or 2-cup. You could put it make a little serving on a 2-cup or a pint mason jar. And the genius in this whole design is that someday when this breaks, which, it's glass, eventually it may break, or because I'm hasty and clumsy, it may break. You can just replace it by going to any store anywhere and buying one for literally $1. That is what is so smart about it. So if you've never used a French press, don't be embarrassed, because I had not either. You put the coffee grounds in the bottom, and then you boil a tea kettle of water, which is not that big of a deal. My husband thought it was going to be a big deal, and it's not. and then you pour the water bloop up here and then put the lid on. So then like this plunger's up here, there's boiling water up to about here, or almost boiling water. And the grounds are kind of floating around down here. You wait for about 3.5 or 4 minutes, and then you press. That's where the French press part comes in, and then pour. Ta-da! They're amazing, and I'm giving one away on my blog, thedomesticwildflower.com. Hope that you guys head there and check it out. And let's check in on my... Okay, so it smells awesome. The flowers are wilting and looking sad, which is good. And yeah, they look awesome, I think. And I did, okay, so I thought if I had like a blueberry or some fruit that was like maybe a sliver of beet or something to color the syrup, I thought that would be really impressive. But the best thing I've got is a strawberry minced up. So I'm gonna, because I thought like it'd be red and pretty. I don't know, reddish, pinkish, purplish. I don't know. Because I bet they're not gonna look this. I mean, the lilac syrup. I bet. Okay, so we're just getting to a simmer. There's my one little minced strawberry. I don't know how much color that's in it. This is gonna be an experiment, guys. But seriously, the house smells like, the kitchen smells like perfume. This is awesome. There we go. So it's at a really gentle little simmer. And, okay, while that's happening, we can get together my little straining apparatus. I'll show you how I do that because it's super easy to get my handy funnel that I use for canning. My main bag is canning, and for that I need a little plastic funnel. It doesn't have to be plastic. If I had a metal one, that would be better, but I don't. So I just need a funnel and a metal mesh strainer. Ta-da! See, strainer. And I need a mason jar, a clean jar. It doesn't have to be a mason jar. It doesn't have to be a canning jar, but canning jars are awesome. Like the reason why they are so useful, aside from the fact that they're obviously cute and like farmhouse chic, is they are made to be submerged in boiling water, canning season after canning season, year after year. So like they're meant to get hot and they're meant to be really sturdy. So they're a really well made, made in America, awesome thing. And that's actually, I think, the real reason they have lasting power as far as, you know, like, as far as utility goes. It's not necessarily because they're pretty, it's because they are useful. So, we'll flip around my little light. Okay. So this is just looking like really limp and fragrant. And that's like what the lilacs look like. So if I was like a really like inexperienced cook, like if I'd never done this before, I might feel like, oh god, that looks terrible. No, it's gonna look awesome. It's gonna be great. This syrup is gonna be very flowery tasting, and it's gonna be great in cocktails. What kind, I don't know, but we're gonna figure it out. So we're just simmering along. I can't really see that there's that much red coming out of that strawberry, but that's okay. No matter. No matter. Okay, and so this is my little setup of how I'm going to strain it out. So I have my little metal strainer here. I have my blue funnel, and I have my mason jar. And I have my little Portland press that you can grab by going to my blog, thedomesticwildflower.com. So like I said, the main thing is I share canning for beginners, and canning season is right around the corner, and I'm super excited about it. So if you're a person who has never canned before, but you want to try or want to get started, I'm your girl. I love helping people learn how to can. It's seriously, I mean it with all my heart. That seems super dorky, but I mean it. I love it because I think it's like canning, or it's like cooking in advance. And I don't mean like crock pot or freezer meals. I mean, it's like cooking really good stuff and then saving it indefinitely, like for years sometimes. I'm going to turn that down, for a really long time. And for me, it's a huge time saver. It's a big investment up front as far as like spending a couple hours in the kitchen canning tomato sauce or whatever, but it ends up saving a ton of time for the rest of the year because I can open a jar and I don't have to do anything else to it other than maybe warm it up, and then I have supper ready. So it's a big time saver for me. I also love canning because it, like when you buy a jar of tomato sauce, I like tomatoes because it seems to be like a pretty universal thing. Like people tend to eat a lot of tomato sauce in a variety of forms. So when you buy a jar of tomato sauce in the grocery store, like, I mean, maybe you're not an ingredients reader. I can't say that I am all the time, but any number of things could be in it. Okay, maybe it has lots of sugar. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe, you know, you have to do a little bit of legwork to figure out what's in it. If you make the tomato sauce yourself, you know exactly what's in it. You know exactly, without any question, what's in it. And I like that I can put it on pasta sauce and then it like counts as a vegetable when I'm feeding my small children and I don't cook one that night or whatever. And it's not full of sugar, which is like undeniably probably a plus. So, those are some of the things that I love about canning, and I love sharing it with other people because I think people think that it is crazy hard to can, like make jam, you know, canned jam, salsa. I do really good Bloody Mary mix, fruit juice. People think that's super hard. Like they think that that is amazingly hard. It's not hard. And it's a process that you have to learn how to do, but it's not super hard. My goodness. And that's why I love sharing it with people because then like you make your first batch and you're like, wow, that was not that hard. I can totally do this because you totally can. So I hope you all stay tuned. I'm going to be launching a canning course that I'm so excited about. You know, this flowery stuff is fun, but that's like, you know, you can't eat lilac syrup. We're going to enjoy it in a drink or two, but as far as like feeding a family, canning is where it's at. So I'm going to flip it around so you can see one more time. Okay, so now it's looking like, not cloudy, but I think those flowers are about done. It's been hot for about 10 minutes. I'm not going to worry about banging that off too much. I think that's about it. So it's just been simmering a little bit. To mute the thing off. Let's see if I can do this without causing a crazy disaster in the kitchen. Because I do want you to see how this is going. Okay. So there it is. One more last look. Okay. I'm getting a little splash on the counter, but I'm not real worried about it. Perfect. I used a pint jar because it was a cup of liquid, or a cup of liquid and a cup of sugar, so I knew it would be about 2 cups. And because I can all the time, I happen to have a canning jar cleaning on the shelf all the time. So there's my little strainer set up. Ta-da! My little funnel. And there we go. I guess it's not too impressive looking. It's kind of gray-green, but that's okay. That's totally fine. It doesn't have to be purple. So there you have it. Piece of cake, right? Really simple. And actually picking the flowers was way easier than I thought it would be. On that, I thought it was going to be like one individual blossom at a time. I thought that was going to be a huge pain. No, you can pinch like a bunch of them at once and pull them off and no stem comes with them. So that was a total plus. I was a little worried about that. So if there's any questions before I hop off, please share them. I want to answer everybody's questions. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for hopping on and hopefully we'll see you on the next scope.